Hello and welcome to Andersen Sports Live. I'm Allie Snow.
And I'm Silas Brown. Okay, Allie, did you see Loyola Chicago making it this far into the tournament?
You know what? Loyola, because you only live once, and that's how this team is playing right now.
Well, I picked Arizona to win it all, but you could see I was certainly wrong.
Oh, we were all wrong this year. The Elite took place this weekend and brackets were busted as Loyola Chicago continues to creep its way through the big dance. Loyola is the only 4th, 11th seed to make it to the Final Four. They've beaten Miami, Tennessee, Nevada, and with Sister Jean on their side, anything is possible.
Michigan, Duke, Kansas State, Florida State, Villanova, Texas Tech round out the rest of the teams in the Elite Eight. But after the weekend, we got to stop this. The highlight is running. Being contention for the national championship.
Starting off, we have Loyola Chicago taking on Kansas State. At the end of the first half, we're going to get a 3 from the corner, and that'll make the lead 36-24. And again, here in the second half, we're going to have another 3 by Ben Richardson, who says, "You can't guard me." Loyola 43-29. And as you can see, Bruce Weber is not happy with his team. K-State just shot 34.8% from the field and 23.1% from downtown. As a coach, you can't be happy with that performance, especially in the Elite Eight. But wow, that Loyola team, they are making their mark with the win, 78-62.
All summer long, we were like, why not us? And the opportunity and how much they invested in it. This is not something where it just started. These guys have been investing for a long time on how hard they worked, how hard they believed. And, you know, we've kind of had this mantra about the process. People ask me out there, they go, did you ever think you're going to the Final Four? And to be honest with you, it wasn't after Selection Sunday. We didn't say, "Hey, let's go to the Final Four." We said, "All right, what do we got to do to beat Miami?" And then it was the next game. And these guys have done an amazing job of just laser-like focus on what's right in front of them instead of skipping steps.
Michigan taking on Florida State in the later game on Saturday night in Los Angeles at Staples Center. Shout out to Brad. Michigan comes up with the 3 still and just throws it up to Charles Matthews. He had 17 on the day, and Michigan has the early 5-point advantage. Later in the first half, Florida State trying to take the lead, and Phil Colford does just that, hitting the 3 in the corner. Now in the second half, with the Wolverines up 1, Matthews stepping back, give me all of that. Michigan up 4 now. But there's no quitting Florida State, though. Colford able to absorb the contact. I heard a whistle. Get him to the line. He's able to complete the 3-point play. But Michigan just too good late in the game as Duncan Robinson hits the wide-open 3 in the corner to increase the lead to double digits. Now P.J. Savor does not want to go home just yet. He pump fakes, dribbles left, and hits a crucial 3 to cut the lead in half. Florida State down 4 with 12 seconds remaining, and Savor flips a wild desperation 3, and it doesn't go. Michigan advances to the Final Four in San Antonio. They will take on Sister Jean and Loyola Chicago. Here's John Beeline after the game.
They got a bunch of good kids. They play together. They play defense. They got a bunch of guys who can shoot. And the only difference is they have a wonderful nun on the sidelines rooting them on and lots of prayer. But we got some prayers on our team too. We got some people behind us.
16, they shot 50%.
Moving on, number 1, Villanova takes on number 3, Texas Tech. To start off, number 2, Zaire Smith is going to nail the 3. Texas Tech puts up a quick lead, but down the floor, Dante DiVincenzo is going to answer back with the and one. Villanova up 33-23 at the half. Start of the second half, Jalen Brunson is going to look to Omari Spellman, who once on a poster. And again, Villanova putting in the points. Texas Tech looks to get a rhythm going with a 3 from Jarrett Culver, who cuts the lead to 40-28. And Texas Tech continued to make a run here with a 3 from David Moretti, and they rallied back. They made it a close game for Villanova. They cut the lead 52-47 with 6 minutes left. But down the floor, Villanova is going to put it away. The big man, McCall Bridges, misses the three-point, but Devin Chino says, I got you. Villanova advances 71-59.
We've been here 17 years. We do the same things. But when you have guys like, I know I say it all the time, but it's just the truth. Jalen and Phil and Mikhail, they don't care whether the shots are going on. I still don't think Phil Booth is 100% with his hand, but he does everything else: defends, rebounds, keeps our team together. It's the character of these guys. They don't judge themselves by whether their shots are going in or whether they look pretty. It's how they play for each other.
Halftime.
Two elite powerhouses battling just 40 minutes north of where we are broadcasting. Yes, that would be Omaha. In the second half, Kansas moving the ball against Duke's zone, and Malik Newman hits a corner in the three. He was 5 for 12 from downtown. Marvin Bagley III with a sweet-looking three-point jumper of his own. Lefties, they just do it better. Duke down 1. Kansas now up 2, and Devontae Graham with a lob up to Uduke as a bouquet. Sweet camera angle there. Kansas now up by 4. Now just under the 10-minute mark, Bagley powering his way through for the layup to tie the game. He won't be denied. He had 16 as the bench is loving what they are seeing from their teammate. Now Devontae Graham, the senior captain, gets a nice screen and swishes home the corner three. He had 11, 6, and 6 in the ball game. Now with 27 seconds left in the game, Svi Mikulik dribbles into a three, looking to tie the game. Accomplished. Talk about a big shot there. Now with the tall ball game, time running out, ball in Grayson Allen's hand to advance to the Final Four. And Allie, I thought this was the game winner. We go to overtime where Malik Newman just took over, hits a clutch three here, and closes it out with 4 consecutive free throws. He had a game-high 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists as Kansas punches their ticket to the Final Four where they will play Villanova this Saturday. Here's Bill Self after the win.
I don't think I could be or we could be more excited or more proud than what we are right now. Not only going to San Antonio, but the way that we did it, beating an historic program, maybe the greatest college basketball coach of all time.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, some NFL news and a special interview with an ESPN investigative reporter. Stay tuned.
The historic Haymarket, a beautiful place just west of downtown Lincoln, home of the exciting Pinnacle Bank Arena and a rich history. The Haymarket's history starts shortly after Lincoln's founding, when Lincoln was a busy hub for trains filled with traders and merchants. But now, Lincoln has a new rail yard that's filled with people looking for food, drinks, or fun. The Haymarket is loaded with restaurants and fun for everyone. What are you waiting for? Go visit lincolnhaymarket.org/events to find out what's happening today.
East Campus is for students who want an education outside of the classroom. We have art, agriculture, fashion, food science, law, dentistry, and a lot of trees, all of which are housed just on the corner of 33rd and Holdridge. Grab an ice cream cone at our dairy store or take a stroll through our gardens while you're here. Want to make it legit? Visit us at casnr.unl.edu to reserve a tour soon.
A lot of high school students would ask, why should I go to UNL? Well, why did Johnny Carson of The Tonight Show fame go to UNL? Why did multi-billionaire businessman Warren Buffett go to UNL? Why did people of such great fame and success go to UNL? Simple, because these are people that wanted to be successful. At the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, you too can begin your own success story. After all, if people like this can achieve national recognition and who came to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, then so can you.
Welcome back to Andersen Sports Live. Odell Beckham Jr. won't play without a contract extension, while the off-field issues and trade chatter took center stage at the NFL's annual league meeting on Sunday. Beckham's contract situation is set to play a major role in how the offseason unfolds. Reports say Beckham Jr. will not play until a negotiable contract is reached.
Hundreds of people, most of them women, have come forward over the past several months with allegations of sexual assault in Hollywood and on college campuses, such as Michigan State University. Our very own Grace Harmon is featured in today's interview special.
Hi, I'm Grace Harmon alongside Paula Levine, graduate of University of Nebraska-Lincoln, investigative reporter for ESPN, and a co-author of Violated, a book which exposed rape and sexual assault at Baylor University. Paula, can I ask you, what was it about the situation at Baylor that made you want to really delve into the issue and write a book?
Well, Grace, this issue is prominent at so many colleges across the country. But there were some things about Baylor that really made it stand out. First of all, the scope of the problem. I mean, there were reports of up to, a few hundred of these cases happening across campus, many of them involving student athletes. The second thing was there was an interesting aspect to the culture at Baylor. With it being a private religious institution, there were a lot of barriers for women to coming forward. There was a cultural attitude of this doesn't happen here because this is a university that doesn't condone drinking, doesn't even condone consensual premarital sex. So for them to even get to the point to acknowledge that violent non-consensual sex was happening was very difficult. So those factors and just this pervasive culture of silence is why Mark, my co-author Mark Schleba, and I decided that this would be worth a broader look.
So when you began writing this book, what were some of the initial steps you took to find those sources that would talk to you, and how did you get them to talk to you?
Well, one of the benefits that we had coming into this book, Grace, was that Mark and I had been reporting on this for almost a year prior to going forward with the book. And so we already had a lot of sources within the Baylor community. But we took that a step further, and when presenting people with the opportunity to speak to us for a book, it seemed to open up a wider range of people willing to talk. I mean, knowing that things would be put in a greater context, that there would be a more opportunity to talk and share their side of the story. So we went to people we had already interviewed. We went to people who used to work for Baylor University. We went to people, as many as we could with the Board of Trustees, just trying to reach out on every level. And people who were accused of some of these crimes, some of the former coaches. We wanted to get all sides of the story.
So kind of looking at the entire scope of the issue of sexual assault on college campuses, whether it's student athletes or just undergraduate students, graduate students in general, is this a problem elsewhere, or is it just isolated cases? How do you see the scope of the problem?
I think it's a problem all over the country. I mean, we've written about this being a problem at smaller schools. We've written about it as being a problem at large universities. I mean, you look at other media. You're almost hard pressed to find a major college out there where there hasn't been some sort of issue like this. It's all over the place. It is, and it's and I think you see now with the Me Too movement that it goes far outside universities, outside sports. I mean, this is a societal problem. There are some unique aspects of it when you start talking about what happens on campuses, and then when you start talking about what happens on campuses with student athletes. But overall, I mean, this is everywhere.
And so, because of that, is there any hope? What are ways that universities can combat it? I mean, like you said, it's a moving target. It develops every day on every campus almost. And what are just ways that it can be fixed? What's the root of the problem?
I think that you're seeing some effort for change. I mean, the U.S. Department of Education really started to crack down on things a few years ago. Now we have yet to see what impact the new administration will have on that. I mean, there's complete new leadership everywhere in the Department of Education too. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I think you are seeing colleges take this more seriously. I know you were seeing coaches take this more seriously. And I think one of the big things, you talk about like what can be the difference. I think a lot of times when we've had this conversation before, it's been a conversation with women about women. And I think the conversation needs to be with men about men. And one thing that I've said several times when we've been talking about this book, when Mark and I go out and talk about this book, I said we need to have conversations not just with women about how not to get yourself in a situation, but we need to tell men, don't rape women. And this is how you should treat women. And those conversations need to come from people that they trust and respect. And in many cases, those are coaches.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today and answering all of my questions. Once again, we have Paula Levine, ESPN reporter and co-author of Violated. That is all we have for today. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Grace Harmon.
Thanks, Grace. After break, Major League Baseball spring training is wrapping up, and we will hear from our roundtable who they think will win the 2018 World Series.
It's your first stop on campus. It's your helping hand. It's a place to study, a place to eat, and a place to plan. The NCARD office, Career Services, Student Affairs Center, a multicultural center, food, and even Greek affairs.
Wait, did you mention food?
Yes, but we have a lot of other stuff too. Come check it out at the Union.
It's our union.
This is the nation's biggest multicultural center attached to a union. There's space to interact, study, and create. We're home to dozens of cultures, majors, and interests. We are home to all underrepresented students. And here, there's always room for you. Located on the east side of the UNL City Campus Union, find your home away from home. Find us at the Jackie Gunn Multicultural Center.
At the Outdoor Adventure Center, you'll find activities for everyone, from canoeing to kayaking to rock climbing. Everyone can get involved, but if you want to find them, you probably have to look up. The Outdoor Adventure Center isn't something you can really define. It's a culture built through experiences. Take a class with us. Go on a trip with us. We're open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Come move with us. Come adventure with us. You just have to experience it.
And we are back in business.
Business is booming.
Shout out to Antonio Brown. After winning the 2017 World Series, the Astros are primed for yet another World Series run. But as you may know, that is not a promise in baseball. The Yankees added Giancarlo Stanton to pair with Aaron Judge. The Cubs signed Yu Darvish, and the Angels signed versatile hitting and pitching international phenom Shohei Ohtani. For who will win the World Series this year, our roundtable has the answer for that.
Again with Chase and Claire, and now we're ready to talk some baseball this time around. So spring training's about to wrap up, guys, and MLB season opening day Thursday. Kind of early this year. Every team's playing in March for the first time, I think, ever. They're playing in March, every team. So let's start. Chase, in the AL, who do you like to come out of this way too early?
I'm going to go ahead and slide with the champions from last season. That's the Houston Astros. They're given no reason to not do it again. They've only gotten better. And that's what's awesome about baseball. There's no salary cap, so you don't see the NFL type attrition due to salaries. And the free agency rule where you're on the roster for 6 years. So Houston Astros, their time is here right now, and they will still go on. They got players like Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa just lined up the middle of the infield. Their pitching staff, though, best in the league. They got 3 pitchers who anywhere could be the number 1 guy. Their number 1 for this year is going to be Justin Verlander. He's a Cy Young winner. They got Dallas Keuchel following him, who was a great number 2. In fact, he even pitched as their number 1 before Verlander showed up in July. So add that with Garrett Cole, the old Pirates starting pitcher, their old number 1. So I feel like they are the best team in baseball. There's no doubt about it. I know there's other teams throughout the AL. We've been talking about the Yankees with their lineup. But the lineup, where that shows up is in May. Where pitching shows up, which is what the Astros have, that's above everyone else, shows up in September and October. So I have the Astros not only winning, but crushing everyone in their path.
Bold predictions from Chase. I mean, they do have the reigning AL MVP in Altuve, so I mean, it's hard to argue with that. But Claire, what about the NL? Who you got?
I'm taking the Dodgers. I think this year could finally be their year. They have Clayton Kershaw. I mean, he's been lights out this spring training. He's an incredible arm. Matt Kemp is back with the Dodgers for the second time, going better than expected so far. He's already hit 4 home runs in spring training. I mean, I think people are a little concerned that Justin Turner is injured at the start of the season, but I mean, baseball is such a long sport.
For sure.
I mean, there's plenty of games, there's plenty of time. I really would not be too worried. Last year, they had great performances from young players. They need to keep those players going, making strides going forward and not hit a slump. I mean, they're really in one of the most interesting divisions. I personally think that in the NL West, Madison Bumgarner's hurt in San Francisco. I mean, he'll be back in May or April, but that definitely does help them. the Dodgers, not the Giants, obviously.
Of course.
Eric Hosmer's now at the Padres, so that makes things a little more interesting. You got their old teammate, Zach Greinke, at the Diamondbacks. I mean, it's a tough road, but I think they could definitely handle it and succeed.
Yeah, if they make it out of that brutal NL West, they got a good chance. Me personally, I'm going to go with the Cubs. They were a bit of a letdown last year after winning the World Series the year before. They kind of struggled throughout the regular season with some of their batting and their pitching, but once it came playoff time, they stepped it up a little bit, made it to the NLCS, got beat by the Dodgers 4-1 in the NLCS there. But, I mean, I think they added Yu Darvish, who is a very good pitcher, so now their five-man rotation is very solid with him, John Lester, Kyle Hendrick, Tyler Chatwood. I mean, their starting pitching rotation, their top five might be the best in the league. I mean, they struggle a little bit with their relief and some of their closers, but I think their starting pitching is as good as anybody, and their offense will come around. They still got those good young guys, so they're going to be all right there. And I think maybe this is the year they make a run back to the World Series again.
You see that a lot, though. You see teams win the World Series, then kind of hit the slump the year after.
Yep, have a little slump.
So,
and a little bit of a World Series
that could
hangover.
be the Astros this year.
The one thing I will mention about the Cubs, the NL Central, my bad, is very weak this year. The St. Louis Cardinals may be the only team that can compete with the Cubs. And as we all know, that's one rivalry that is an incredible thing to be a part of.
That is for sure. Yep, absolutely. Well, we're out of time, so we're going to send it back down to Allie and Silas. Thanks, guys.
You know, Cy, I'm excited about this spring weather. It'll be interesting to see how many homers Judge and Stanton hit, too.
I'm predicting a lot of baseball souvenirs to be hit out of the Bronx this year in Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
They have to combine for at least 70 home runs this year.
You're right. Well, when we come back, we will hear from our very own Brad Hilligoss from the City of Angels. You do not want to miss this.
The historic Haymarket, a beautiful place just west of downtown Lincoln. Home of the exciting Pinnacle Bank Arena and a rich history. The Haymarket's history starts shortly after Lincoln's founding, when Lincoln was a busy hub for trains filled with traders and merchants. But now, Lincoln has a new rail yard that's filled with people looking for food, drinks, or fun. The Haymarket is loaded with restaurants and fun for everyone. What are you waiting for? Go visit lincolnhaymarket.org/events to find out what's happening today.
East Campus is for students who want an education outside of the classroom. We have art, agriculture, fashion, food science, law, dentistry, and a lot of trees, all of which are housed just on the corner of 33rd and Holdridge. Grab an ice cream cone at our dairy store or take a stroll through our gardens while you're here. Want to make it legit? Visit us at casnr.unl.edu to reserve a tour soon.
A lot of high school students would ask, why should I go to UNL? Well, why did Johnny Carson, the Tonight Show fan, go to UNL? Why did multi-billionaire businessman Warren Buffett go to UNL? Why did people of such great fame and success go to UNL? Simple, because these are people that wanted to be successful. At the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, you too can begin your own success story. After all, if people like this can achieve national recognition and who came to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, then so can you.
Hey guys, happy to be reporting from the City of Angels here.
You may not know, one of our own, Brad Hilligoss, is in Los Angeles, and he has a special preview for what's to come on next week's show.
Hey guys, happy to be reporting from the City of Angels here in beautiful Los Angeles. It's been a phenomenal month here with March Madness coming down to its conclusion. I was able to watch Michigan's phenomenal run to the Final Four, where now they'll face off in San Antonio against this year's Cinderella, of course, Loyola of Chicago. But we're at an interesting intersection in sports today with college basketball coming to its conclusion, spring football popping up on college campuses across the country, and of course the NBA playoffs just a few weeks away. So I wanted to sit down with an insider in all three sports to get their opinions on some of the most pressing issues facing sports today. I was able to arrange time to speak with three-time author, four-time sports Emmy award-winning journalist, ESPN's Shelley Smith. We're going to talk about, should we be paying college athletes? Are college coaches getting paid too much because college athletics is a big business? Is the college football playoff at its best, or does it need some tweaking? And has the Ball family changed the layout for high school hoopers to reach the NBA for the future generation? All this I'll have available for you in an interview with Shelley on next week's episode of Andersen Sports Live. But for now, I'm going to soak up the sun and all the rays here in sunny SoCal. So I'm going to toss it back to Allie Snow and Silas Brown at the desk. Thanks, guys.
You know what, Cy? All I could stare at were those palm trees in the background. I wish I was in California right now.
You're telling me. I haven't worn shorts in, I can't remember. It's been a long time.
We're stuck in this cold weather, but you know what? Brad's looking a little pasty. I think he needs to hit the beach or something.
Hey, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Well, Brad, we hope you're having a great time in California. We look forward to the next interview on next week's show. I'm Silas Brown.
And I'm Allie Snow. Hope to see you next week on Andersen Sports Live.